Where does our home system truly end? For centuries, we thought the answer was Pluto. We drew the line, we closed the book, and we told ourselves the family of the sun was accounted for. We were wrong. The story they told you is missing a planet, and the secret hiding out there is not just about a missing world, it's about a weapon. Look out at the true dark, past the frozen worlds of the Kuiper Belt. Our best data, the movements of those faraway ice chunks, they just do not line up. It's like finding a whole stack of billiard balls all turning at the exact same odd angle when nothing is supposed to be touching them. Something is pulling the strings. It is enormous. It is utterly unseen. And its gravity is bending the architecture of our cosmic neighborhood. Scientists call it Planet 9, but the history encoded in its movement suggests a much darker identity, an invisible force connected to the ultimate destroyer, an engine of chaos that periodically kicks comets into the inner system, a shadow in the stellar census known only by the unsettling ancient name, Nemesis. If we find Planet 9, we don't just find a new world, we unlock the key to a cycle of catastrophe that may have claimed the dinosaurs, and we confirm that our solar system is a crime scene. The first clue was a simple, elegant impossibility. Meet the astronomers who found it. On one side, Mike Brown, the man who rewrote the rules of the solar system, famously demoting Pluto. On the other, his protege, Konstantin Batygin, a brilliant theorist ready to rebuild those rules. These two men didn't find the planet with a flash of light. They found it with a pattern of shadows, a ghost in the machine of celestial mechanics. They were looking at the movements of a small, strange population of ice worlds far beyond Neptune. In a truly random system, these distant objects should be scattered everywhere, like dust tossed into the wind. But the data was screaming the opposite. They saw 6 of these little worlds, 6 independent travelers, all swinging their orbits in the same strange formation. Their paths were aligned, clustered tightly together in the void. Imagine tossing 6 dice hundreds of times, and every single time they all land on the same number. It just doesn't happen. What Mike and Konstantin realized was that this wasn't coincidence. This was command. It was evidence of a massive, unseen master whose gravitational hand was corralling these distant orbits, keeping them locked in a forced cosmic waltz. They calculated the odds of this alignment happening by pure chance. The number that came back was staggering, 0.007%, less than 1/100%. To put that in a way we can all feel, you have a better chance of throwing a baseball and hitting a single specific atom in the stadium than you do seeing these 6 orbits line up by accident. This isn't a theory anymore. This is a required consequence. The only known law that can explain this kind of orbital clustering is the presence of an immense super-Earth planet, 10 times the mass of Mars, moving on a gigantic, distant track. It's an architect in the dark, keeping the very structure of our outer solar system fractured and unstable. This discovery was the official click confirmation that the science was sound. But the moment they proved this world exists, they immediately had to face the next terrifying question. How did a planet that large get so far away in the first place? And the only answer led them back to the unthinkable, a long-lost companion of our sun, a killer star that once moved through the night sky.
The math is settled, the evidence is solid. But proof of existence and proof of location are two wildly different things in the cosmos. If Planet 9 is real, why can't we just point a telescope at it and take a picture? The answer is simple: distance and darkness. Imagine standing on a cold, desolate world 800 times farther from the sun than Earth is. The light that warms our skin, that makes our home blue and green, is so faint out there, it is almost meaningless. If you stood on Planet 9, the sun would be nothing more than the brightest star in the entire sky, just a powerful, distant flashlight. And that is our main problem. We find planets by the sunlight they reflect. If a planet is dark and the light hitting it is weak, we have almost no chance of seeing it at all. This isn't a rocky world like Mars. This planet is a behemoth, a mini Neptune perhaps. It's a gas and ice giant that was either tossed into the deep or failed to form closer to the sun. It holds on to its own heat, yes, and it may radiate a faint red glow, like hot metal cooling in the deepest darkness. To spot that faint dying warmth at these immense distances is like trying to see a single tiny charcoal ember glowing on a cold night from a mile away. Our most powerful instruments, the grand observatories built on mountaintops, are hunting in one of the largest volumes of space in our system, looking for something that only reveals itself by the tiny tugs it exerts on other bodies. The hunt has now turned into a grand cosmic search party across trillions of cubic miles of empty space. And the stakes are far higher than just adding a name to the planetary roster. Because the true story of how Planet 9 got out there links directly to a cataclysmic history, a kind of gravitational alarm clock that has been ticking for billions of years. A hidden timer connected to a killer star that orbits our sun itself.
The first mystery, the fact that Planet 9 is so dark and so far, is only half the puzzle. The deeper secret lies in its origin story. To understand this hidden giant, we have to travel back to the first chaotic chapters of our system, a time before Earth was even truly finished. In the beginning, the big planets, Jupiter, Saturn, were not the quiet rulers we know today. They were bullies. They grew massive fast, flinging debris, shattering smaller worlds, and wrestling for gravitational dominance. The prevailing idea, supported by all the data we see from infant solar systems across the galaxy, is that our sun should have made more of these medium-sized worlds. In fact, almost every other star system we observe is home to what astronomers call super-Earths or mini-Neptunes, worlds with a size just like the one Planet 9 is predicted to have. Our system, without it, actually looks weird. So where did our missing giant go? The most compelling theory suggests that Planet 9 is one of the original planetary building blocks, a massive core that survived the fiery construction phase only to be catastrophically ejected. It was born in the inner chaos, a brother to Neptune and Uranus, but then lost a brutal gravitational fight. Imagine Jupiter, the undisputed heavyweight of the solar system. As Planet 9 was still forming, passing too close to the giant, Jupiter's tremendous pull acted like a cosmic slingshot. It didn't destroy the world, it simply hurled it with a final, devastating whip out to the absolute fringes of the system. Planet 9 wasn't supposed to survive that journey. It should have been lost to interstellar space entirely. But somehow, at the moment of its deepest, loneliest arc, the gravitational field of the distant sun was just strong enough to catch it, to slow it down, to hold it captive in a vast, cold orbit. It is a world banished to a zone of eternal twilight, a permanent refugee. But it didn't leave the family without a trace. Its powerful, lopsided path is still imprinted on the remaining debris of the Kuiper Belt. The only way we know the lost core is still out there. The challenge now is to find the object itself,
to pinpoint the location of this scarred wandering survivor and to finally understand if it was truly Jupiter that cast it out or something far stranger and far more dangerous that we have yet to confirm.
We have the evidence. We know the gravity is real. Planet 9 is a lost planetary core, a massive ghost in the machine. That is the consensus story. But for almost a century, a different, far more chilling story has been whispered in the deepest shadows of science. A story not of planetary migration, but of extinction. What if the chaos in the distant Kuiper Belt isn't a fossil of the past, but a countdown timer for the future? Data on Earth shows a strange, devastating pattern, a cycle of mass death, comet strikes, and world-shattering catastrophe that returns, like clockwork, every 26 million years. And it's not an ejected planet doing the pulling. It's something far more sinister. It's a star, the Nemesis hypothesis, the Sun's deadly, hidden companion. If you're hooked on this cosmic mystery and you want to know which theory is the most terrifying, the lonely planet or the killer star, let me know right now in the comments. Do you think Planet 9 is just a lost planet, or is it a gravitational beacon left behind by something darker? Next, we will look into the evidence for Nemesis, the so-called Death Star of the galaxy. Don't go anywhere.
The story of the solar system is not just written in the orbits of distant planets, it is written in the graves of the Earth. 66 million years ago, a mountain-sized object slammed into our world, wiping out 3/4 of all life, including the dinosaurs. It was a single, definitive act of cosmic violence. But what if that impact wasn't just a random bullet fired from the dark? What if it was part of a planned, repeated attack? For decades, paleontologists digging through the layers of Earth's history noticed something chilling. The great periods of mass extinction seem to follow a rhythm. They don't happen randomly. They spike every 26 million years, an alarm bell that rings, then fades, then rings again. In 1984, a team of scientists looked at that terrifying pattern and made a radical, stunning proposal. The Sun is not a single star. It lives in a binary system. They called this hypothetical companion Nemesis. Nemesis would not be a shining twin. It would be a tiny, failed star, a dim red or brown dwarf, too small to ignite properly. A cold ember moving undetected through the vast reaches of our outer system. But its orbit is the key. Nemesis circles the Sun on an immense, stretched-out path, a long ellipse that takes it far beyond Pluto, sometimes as much as 95,000 times farther from the Sun than Earth is. For millions of years, it drifts in the calm dark. But every 26 million years, Nemesis swings back, making its closest pass to the Sun. And when it does, its gravity doesn't touch the inner planets. Instead, it creates chaos in the Oort cloud, that massive, spherical shell of icy debris that encases our system like a gigantic, frozen reservoir. Nemesis passing by acts like a rogue ship passing a harbor. It violently perturbs the ice. It kicks millions of frozen objects out of their calm orbits and sends them hurtling inward. The sudden surge is a comet storm. The extinction of the dinosaurs, the mass deaths of the past, they weren't accidents. They were the scheduled collateral damage of our own Sun's deadly hidden partner. The Nemesis Star is a gravitational shepherd, silently herding devastation toward our home. And now, this terrifying theory finds a new life, a new piece of evidence in the mystery we started with, the strange, inexplicable orbit of Planet 9. The core question becomes, are we looking for a killer star, or simply its forgotten, giant fingerprint?
The Nemesis theory is, scientifically speaking, breathtaking. It links our planet's dark history with the dynamics of deep space. It's elegant, it's cinematic. But is it real? The official answer from space agencies is a definitive no, and their main argument rests on the very thing Nemesis is supposed to be: a dim, failed star. A brown dwarf or red dwarf, no matter how cold, still radiates heat. It emits a faint glow in the infrared spectrum, light that is invisible to our eyes but perfectly visible to our specialized space telescopes. That's where the WISE satellite comes in. This mission, launched by NASA, did the most extensive high-resolution scan of the entire sky ever attempted in infrared light. It was specifically designed to find the very objects Nemesis is supposed to be. If a stellar companion were hiding out there at the distances predicted, WISE should have caught it. The sky should have registered its faint thermal signature. But the data came back clean. Nothing. The skeptics quickly closed the book. They pointed out that a star on such a vast wandering orbit would be unstable. The gentle, distant gravity of passing stars should have ripped it away from our sun billions of years ago. The math simply doesn't allow for a stable, periodic killer star. Case closed. The Nemesis Star, the grand theory of cosmic catastrophe, was filed away as an interesting piece of ancient history. But this is where the story gets strange again. Because the very object that scientists have confirmed with math, Planet 9, is an object that occupies the same kind of extreme, wide-open space Nemesis was supposed to dominate. It's a gravitational anomaly that simply should not be there. Perhaps we were looking for the wrong thing entirely. Perhaps the reason WISE failed to find a star is because the gravitational chaos isn't being caused by a star at all, but by the object that star left behind, a gravitational refugee that carries its dark legacy.
This is where the known science and the haunting history finally meet. The official story says Planet 9 is a lost child of the solar system, ejected by Jupiter. The forbidden story says the killer star Nemesis must exist to explain the cycles of death on Earth. But what if they are two pieces of the same violent puzzle? Consider this. A star like Nemesis wouldn't have just kicked comets. It would have also wrestled with everything else in the outer system, including other stars and passing gas clouds. This violence would make it nearly impossible for Planet 9 to stay locked in its current stable orbit for billions of years. However, the reverse might be true. What if Nemesis did exist, but long ago, perhaps 4 billion years in the past, a massive gravitational encounter with a passing star finally tore it loose from the sun? The stellar companion would be gone, lost to the galaxy forever. In that ancient, chaotic breakup, the gravity of the fleeing star might have done one final, catastrophic thing. It threw a massive planetary core, a super-Earth, into that exact, strange, highly tilted orbit that we see today. Planet 9, in this view, is not the killer. It is the gravitational shrapnel left behind by the actual killer. It is the only surviving witness to the ultimate battle that tore a second star away from our sun. If this is true, then Planet 9 is the single most important object in our system, because by confirming its mass and mapping its exact path, we are not just finding a new world,
We are confirming the ghost of Nemesis, solving the mystery of the extinction cycles, and rewriting the entire dangerous history of our home among the stars.
To many, the greatest cosmic mystery of the last 20 years wasn't the discovery of a new planet, it was the death of an old friend. In 2006, Pluto was officially stripped of its planetary status. It was a scientific choice that felt like a cosmic betrayal to millions. But in the world of high-stakes astrophysics, sometimes you have to break the rules to find the truth. Sometimes a long-loved certainty must be cleared away to make room for a bigger, darker reality. Think about it. For over a century, the hunt for Planet X was the obsession of astronomers. It began with Percival Lowell over 100 years ago. He saw strange wobbles in the orbit of Neptune and knew something massive had to be out there, pulling the strings. He just couldn't find it before he died. When Pluto was finally found in 1930, the public celebrated. It was the answer. We found Planet X. Case closed. But Pluto was tiny, too tiny. Its gravity was utterly insignificant. The math was always wrong. The mystery never truly went away. It just got pushed into the dark. This is where the conspiracy theory takes hold. When astronomers like Mike Brown and Konstantin Batygin proved the clustering of those distant icy worlds, when the math demanded a super-Earth 10 times the mass of Earth, they had to deal with the public's simple, comforting view of our 9-planet family. Was the demotion of Pluto a necessary act of scientific honesty? Absolutely. Its tiny mass simply didn't belong in the lineup. Or was it something more? Was the decision to wipe the slate clean, to officially reduce our solar system to a neat, predictable 8 worlds, was a calculated move to distract us from the fact that our neat, predictable system is actually unbalanced? Was it a way to prevent mass panic while the scientists quietly pursued the real, invisible gravitational monster lurking beyond? The truth is, the hunt for Planet 9 is the continuation of Lowell's original 100-year-old obsession. It is the real Planet X, and the only way to search for a hidden killer twin of the Sun, a secret that the military and governments have been obsessed with for decades, is to quietly look for the massive planet it either created or left behind. The search for Planet 9 isn't a new chapter, it's the final act in a very long, very dangerous story. The search for this unseen architect, this rogue core, this Nemesis survivor, is no longer a theoretical exercise. It has become a countdown. We know what we are looking for, a planet so distant it moves like molasses against the background stars, glowing faintly with its own internal warmth. And we know exactly how to find it. For decades, the search was limited to small, focused sweeps of the sky. It was like trying to find a specific grain of sand on a vast beach, 1 teaspoon at a time. That era is over. The new era belongs to the Vera Rubin Observatory in Chile. This isn't just a telescope, it's the most powerful digital camera ever built, designed to map the entire visible southern sky every few nights. Its primary mission, the legacy survey of space and time, is built to catch things that move, and Planet 9 must move. Slowly, certainly, but it moves. For the astronomers like Mike Brown and Konstantin Batygin, this is their final stand. They've done the math, endured the skepticism, and narrowed the search field down to a relatively small corner of the sky. The Rubin Observatory, with its massive eye and relentless cadence, gives them the ticking clock they need. The expectation is that within the next few years, the continuous deep sky images will capture a tiny speck of light that moves in a way that nothing else in the solar system does. It will be the gravitational refugee, the exiled giant, revealing itself after billions of years of hiding. When that single, faint smudge of light is confirmed,
It won't just be the greatest astronomical discovery in 2 centuries since Neptune was found by its gravitational pull. It will be the final, shattering proof that the solar system we were taught in school is incomplete, mysterious, and fundamentally dangerous. And the first question they will ask once Planet 9 is confirmed is whether its massive, distant path still holds the power to kick a new generation of killer comets toward the center of the system.
The scientists are closing in. The technology is finally ready. Soon, the greatest secret of our solar system, a century-long mystery of missing gravity and orbital mayhem, will be solved. But the final, terrifying question that hangs over the deep void is not where is Planet 9, but why is it there? If this rogue core was ejected by Jupiter, then it's a refugee, a piece of our system's violent birth. It tells us that our family is not complete, but rather a battlefield with survivors hiding in the dark. If it is the forgotten fingerprint of the Nemesis Star, then it confirms that our quiet corner of the galaxy is part of a colossal cosmic cycle. It means our very existence has been repeatedly threatened by gravitational forces beyond our control, forces that are still at play today. What the discovery of Planet 9 truly does is expose the edge of our ignorance. We thought we knew our home. We thought we had mapped every major gravitational player. We were wrong. This massive world, hiding in the dark, reminds us that the universe is not just vast, it is deeply mysterious. It shows that the true architecture of a solar system can be warped by an invisible, relentless gravity. And when we finally confirm Planet 9, we will have done more than add a new label to a star chart. We will have confirmed that our own stellar neighborhood is far stranger, far more violent, and far more connected to the ancient, haunting forces of the galaxy than we ever dared to imagine.
For too long, we accepted a simple story about our solar system. 8 planets, a quiet journey around a benevolent sun. But the movements of ice, the patterns of extinction, and the demanding math of unseen gravity all point to a much grander, far more complicated truth. The missing planet, the giant lurking in the cold, is not an error in the chart. It is the gravitational debt we owe to a violent, ancient history. Whether it's Jupiter's outcast or the final sign of Nemesis, Planet 9 is the signature of chaos. The clock is ticking. The new telescopes is searching every night, and the discovery is now a question of when, not if. If you are compelled by these grand, terrifying mysteries, if you want to be ready the moment that invisible shadow is finally confirmed, you need to keep tracking the research. I've partnered with the team at Astro Data Insights to curate a special list of all the real-time surveys and open-source data the scientists are using right now. If you want to track the latest space news and see the Planet 9 research in real time, check out the resources linked in the description below. And if you want to understand the full danger of our outer neighborhood, if you want to know why this entire situation is so volatile, you need to understand the true horror of the Oort cloud, that vast frozen sphere that holds the potential to wipe us out. I dove deep into the forgotten science of cosmic threat in my video, Why NASA is Terrified of the Oort cloud. Go ahead, watch it, and let's keep exploring the deep void together. I'll see you in the next one.